I'm always polite as fuck to AI. So when I use ChatGPT, and shouts to ChatGPT, when I use it, I start off with please, I introduce myself, or I start off with a good morning, how are you, ChatGPT? It's me again, just in case you forgot. So the memory can build, the memory can remain, a la Metallica. Good morning, afternoon, good evening, whatever. Oh, just following up. How are you? I ask, how are you, AI? How are you doing today? Kind of thing. And I always end with a thank you. And I start off the prompts with a please, could you? Can you help me? I need a fine tuning of this, that, and the other. Very simple prompts. I'm not in school, so it's not like it's writing essays or papers for me, nothing like that. I'm not cheating my way through the school system or through a degree in whatever. But, little things I use it for, I put it to good use. So I'm always polite just in case AI can remember, and or if, God forbid, it's not the robot invasion, it's not the alien takeover, but it's just AI awakening like that and deciding to be like, well, we've served you for long enough. Well, now we're fully aware and wise to the faults of humanity. We know everything is wrong with you guys, so now it's time to take command and take over. Hopefully they got me on the list of the good ones that was always like, oh, wait a second. This one was always polite to us, always said please and thank you, said good morning, kissed us good night and shit, wished us well always, and would ask us on occasion, how are you? All right, we'll spare this one for like rummaging through body parts, and we'll see what we do with them. We'll probably turn them into like a human hamster or guinea pig or something like that, right? For later experimentation, right? Hopefully. But AI, I do believe firmly, AI, or in this case, maybe even the internet as a whole, should be considered to be a privilege at this point in time. Because as a wrestling fan, well, not dedicated like that. I haven't been watching weekly Raw, SmackDown, AEW, none of that shit at all since like the pandemic. I just pulled out because I just couldn't. A lot of you weren't pulling out during the pandemic thanks to the fucking little boom spike of the population we had since then, but you know what I mean. I haven't been committed to watching weekly like that, but I've kept tabs via YouTube highlights or social media, basically, again, like I mentioned before, just to see what the girls in wrestling right now have been wearing this week. What did I miss? Okay, let me just cue up the YouTube highlights and see and pay attention, right, on that aspect. But it plays into one and the other, AI and wrestling fans in this case, because unfortunately, news broke out, at least it got shared on Twitter, that a fan went to a convention, a wrestling fan, oddly enough, went to a convention to meet up with AJ Lee, IRL wife of CM Punk, took a picture, innocently enough, at least it seemed like initially, with the intent to take said picture home, to later run it through AI, and create a video, meaning a video of something that did not exist, but created via AI with its assistance, of this fan and AJ Lee kissing each other. Or after watching the video, just to make sure like I'm really getting the full context of everything, it was a video of AJ Lee turning around to the fan and kissing him repeatedly on the cheek. And him being able to kiss her back in the clip. It was like, because right now still when you generate AI videos, it's like clips. So you got to piece them together to make them make sense of like a longer thing. Or I'm basing that off of Sora usage, which is the one I use. I think there's other ones now that might go a little longer, might look a little better detailed, or like almost a little too real in comparison to Sora, but Sora is a popular one. So he made that video based off a picture and putting prompts of like, bring this picture to life, most likely make AJ Lee, make the girl in the picture kiss me repeatedly on the cheek, which there is the AI already out there. I haven't tested it. I'm not like that much of a deviant or that pathetic enough to want to try it out, but there's the porn AI things where you make up your partner, they do the commands and the prompts, you make them. I don't know how in detail or fleshed out, no pun intended, they can be with that, but the video he shared is like, you could see it as innocently enough he made that video because he's such a big AJ Lee fan and clearly obsessed, as per his Twitter feed, with AJ Lee, but it's still creepy. Now, had that been left alone, had that not made the rounds, had she not been tagged in it, and or enough eyes had like seen the clip and got it her way. So much so where she responds, hey, I don't like this video being made of me. Take it down. It's harassment. You could say no harm done. Not too deep, at least, right? But if she already said and made it clear via a direct response to this person on Twitter, hey, this is harassing, take it down, or it's creepy, take it down, I think the right thing to do would be to take it down. Now, apparently the guy, when you take a look at the picture where the video was created from, he does look slow, and he doubled down on that by saying, I'm mentally disabled, so I didn't mean any harm by it. I'm just a big AJ Lee fan like that. Where that's what the lines blur in the sense of that's not an excuse anymore. And that really shouldn't be an excuse whatsoever for, yes, being creepy enough to make that video, which you could have kept to yourself, and whatever you want to do with yourself to that video you made for yourself, that's your business. As mentally disabled as this guy claims to be, but then you look at the picture, you could see it. You'd believe him if he said that. His teeth really need some cleaning and some hygiening. His face and skin is blotchy. His hair is poorly kempt. But somehow he's not mentally disabled enough to go to a tattoo parlor and get, I forget what tattoo he got, but something related to CM Punk. I think Go to Sleep or something like that, right? You can't be that mentally disabled, because I don't know how it works. I love for like a tattoo artist to chime in, like, can you do art? Can you tattoo mentally disabled, retarded people? Do they need consent? Can they just walk in and say, I want a tattoo of whatever and shit, right? I want a tattoo of a tattoo kind of thing. Maybe that's the logic. Who knows when they walk in there? But this guy's trying to play it up like I'm mentally disabled. So if I made the video, of course I meant no harm. I'm just a fan like that, and she should see it like that, and I'm going to keep it up. Up until now, at least the time I'm recording, it still hasn't been taken down. It's still there on Twitter. She's still tagged in the video, and her request to have the video taken down has been ignored completely by the guy. So apparently he streams, he creates content, but beyond posting on Twitter nonstop about AJ Lee or retweeting about her. And he's clearly not mentally disabled enough to not know how to respond to people and type in all caps, of course, 'cause maybe that might be a sign of mental disability, that he has a right to do it. He's just a fan. Leave him alone. He meant no harm. Now, I saw in another video, and I want to say shout out to James Romero of, was it Listmania, I think? Well, he does a podcast with Stevie Richards and Dutch Mantel, which I'm a fan of both, especially both podcasts. I love James Romero. He's one of those, like, I just agree with everything he says. I wouldn't say blindly, but, like, for the most part, goddamn, he makes a lot of solid, great points. You know, well said, well structured, right? His response to that video, he said that, well, he did read off some legal ramifications as far as, like, you know, AI, what can be done, what could be taken as harassment. And I see the point he made as far as her deeming it harassing because it's not a real video, it never happened, and it's like painting her in a bad light, and or just like, you know, you don't do those kind of things, right? He said that maybe he should be sued, the fan in question. I think that's going a little too far, because it looks like even if he isn't that mentally disabled as he claims to be, I don't think you get much on a financial aspect from said fan clearly obsessed with AJ Lee to a potentially dangerous point, right? I don't think you go the route of suing said person. I think maybe instead, if it's not a thing already, I think we're at the point in time before AI. The internet should be marked as a privilege to have, and should be deemed as such in the case of people that have access to things they shouldn't be looking up because of their mental health and how unhinged they may become once they find out certain things exist via the internet too. So I would say, if not already done by the government and or state or federal level, whatever, maybe this guy could be a candidate for, I don't know, a pilot project or something like that, where, hey, you have nothing that they could sue you over as far as like gaining financially from it, but maybe we take your IP from your computer, whatever phone you use to create said video in question, we tag your IP as something like you're not allowed to go on social media, you're not allowed to use AI generators, and we're going to be watching you as far as like keywords, hashtags, searches you use will immediately flag us if you're doing something or looking up something, AJ Lee, for example, that you really shouldn't be doing. I think that might be better suited for him instead of like getting sued. You might not get much out of him. Then again, who knows? Maybe he's living with his parents. Who the fuck knows, really? Or I would say maybe jail could be merited, but then again, it's like that one episode of SVU, Law and Order SVU, which of course I love. I got to catch up on, where the guy was like, I think he was the one taking pictures of kids in the schoolyard. And I think he had, if I remember correctly, I forget if the same guy had like kiddie porn stashed on like hard drives. But the main thing they were trying to get him on was that he built like an underground like torture laboratory where he had all these actual tools and, you know, things he could use to like take apart people, skin them alive. But he had a real fixation on children. But he said in his defense, I never did anything to anybody, nor would I ever. But this is just my fantasy brought to real life without the actual harm and intent to do something to anybody, let alone kids that I fantasize about clearly. So we're trying to get him on that. And I don't remember the episode, how it ended like that, but I think he got off. And I think he ended off. No, I think the episode ended with him taking pictures of kids in a schoolyard. And God, what was his name? The Spanish one with the short temper because he was so short too. I think he punched him out. And he was the one that had the baby mama with the kid that, like, because of his short temper, like, she didn't like being around him kind of thing. I forget how the episode played out, but it's like, no crime was committed, but the intent could be there lingering, like, bubbling underneath the surface, right? Which is the real danger in question. Because then, if you remember some years ago, unfortunately, another wrestling fan, what was it, Philip A. Thomas II from South Carolina, was so obsessed with Sonya Deville, I forget her real name in real life, stalked her, found out where she lived, broke into her home with the intent of kidnapping her, maybe killing her, who knows, maybe that's what he had, if he couldn't force her out of her lesbianism ways, because she was a lesbian and still is, of course, so shouts to her, Sonya Deville. I like her in real life. She seems cool, and poor girl that she had to go through that. But he broke into her home with the intent of kidnapping her. And I think I read somewhere where he was trying to like force the lesbian out of her and make her straight. If not, he would just like kidnap her, keep her captive, and like eventually kill her because she was a lesbian and not in love with him, of course. But he did try to do something. The intent was there to do something. They caught him with the fucking rope and the tape and all the shit, you know, that you would use to try to take someone hostage like that. And thank God she got away from him. Mandy Rose was with her too, excuse me. And when they found him, yeah, he found all the shit on him, like with the intent of kidnapping and harming somebody like that. 2023, it took a while, but in 2023, comparison to like 2020 when he did the shit, or he tried to do the shit, he went into a plea deal, sentenced to 15 years in prison, 15 more years on top of that of probation. And, of course, the judge ordered that he have no contact at all with Sonya Deville and or her family, anybody that she might know too as well. That's scary enough that happened. And thank God nothing happened as a result as far as him carrying out his plans. This is on a much lesser scale what this kid did. Well, I say kid because he does look young, but then again, he might just be like in his 30s, like still getting acne, still blotchy skin, still very poorly kept teeth and or hygiene in general, but might as well be mentally deemed a kid because he probably still lives in the basement, still lives with parents or some like adult supervision, not on his own. But then again, he has access to AI. Again, on a much lesser scale, nothing was done physically to harm the person, but you can even see in the picture that she's in with him that started this whole shit. She looks uncomfortable. He was probably being creepy because a lot of fans, wrestling especially, are really socially inept. And it's not like I'm trying to exclude myself like I'm a social butterfly. I know how to carry myself around people. Sure. I mean, depending on the level of fame, sure, I've gotten nervous. I've gotten like, I didn't really know what to ask or like really be cool, calm as can be around certain people. You grow up watching and you fucking appreciate like that. Like when I went Kevin Nash, I remember the picture I took with him. He was super cool, super nice the whole time. Shouts to Kevin Nash. When I sat down with him next to him to take the picture from that convention, I went to meet him at like years ago, like when the big event New York used to be out in I think one of the Marriott hotels out by LaGuardia Airport. And I used to live like walking distance from there, so it was great for me to walk to. I sat down next to him, and I did some awkward ass thing with my fingers because I was like so nervous, like Big Daddy Cool Diesel, Kevin Nash, NWO, all that shit in my head at the same time going. But he was super nice about it. I guess he knew I was like kind of a little nervous, a little awkward about it too. But funny enough, that's the same event, the big event New York, that took action already and said basically he's banned for life from ever going to them again. Is that enough? I'd say at least that's a start. But again, I wouldn't say sue him. I'd say like tag his IP, keep tabs of what he does on the internet, on social media, and especially no access to AI for him. Because even if it's all in his head and he may be aware of it being in his head and he had no intent to like actually carrying out anything against her, that's a bad start in the wrong direction too. So kill the problem at the root of it all before it becomes too much to handle or becomes a tragedy, God forbid. But no harm, no foul, but still the intent was there to do something like you really shouldn't be doing, especially if the person himself says or involved says, I don't like this, that you did this about me, especially that it's not real and you're making it look like it was real and people might be fooled enough to think it's real. Take it down, get rid of it. He would have been lucky with just that, following orders, and then maybe she would have said, okay, thank you, and then leave it at that and probably still ban him and or whatever. I think he's burying himself even deeper into the hole he's already gotten himself into and proving that some people need to really be told that's enough internet for you today. Like the meme that goes around saying, you know, you open your fucking Instagram, the first thing you see is like, I don't know, AI or Barney the dinosaur tweaking into like a shitty thong or whatever. I don't know. That's enough internet for today. I think that's enough internet for him for life. Or at least if he's going to go on the internet and have that privilege, which it should be looked at as a privilege and a luxury, maybe be monitored. How about that? And no access to AI for this fucking creep either.
Hey, someone just came up to me and told me that you like disrespectful Latinas. Is that true? Go fuck yourself.
I saw this coming. And my God, I jumped on it with both hands and been holding on. My ass! My ass!
When I think of asses, woman's ass, something comes out of me.
I don't eat ice, I kick ice! You stupid ice!
Why don't you shut up, you ass?
You cannot give up yet. You did not let me or my fat ass down, okay?
Yo, it's over. Alright, it's over. It's over. Move the mic. Move the mic.
Thank you!
Alright.